Yes.
Bring it on. Low. Yes.
Work.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. He's a prodigy of Costumado as well. The last Roy Jones fight, he wanted to go back to his roots, and now he's sticking with him. Raphael, he's like the pad guy. He keeps
The highly anticipated fight between Tyson and Paul is just around the corner, and Tyson seemed in aggression in open workouts, while Jake Paul trolled with a rooster hat ahead of their highly anticipated fight on November 16th.
I'm gonna get in there. But outside of that, look at that. Do you really want to stand in front of him? Do you really want him to swing at your face and try to knock you unconscious? It's hard to even watch.
Man, I don't know what's going on. You eyeing him down. I don't want you to go out there, brother.
Not at all. I'm calling the fights. He's a great fighter for what he's doing. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just observing, just like both of these.
As the world eagerly anticipates the clash of two boxing giants, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, their preparation for the upcoming fight has already created waves of excitement. Scheduled for Saturday, November 16th at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, this highly anticipated bout will be streamed live on Netflix, with Indian fans tuning in at 6:30 a.m. IST to witness the action unfold.
It's ruthless, Mike.
I'm the truth. Believe that.
As the anticipation builds for the most celebrated boxing event,
Frightening than dying. Get away from me.
Camp was amazing. The fight is right around the corner.
The build-up to the fight has been nothing short of dramatic. Both fighters held open workouts on November 12th at the Toyota Music Factory in Texas, offering fans a glimpse of what to expect on fight night. The atmosphere was electric as Tyson, now 58 years old, showcased his aggressive approach during the workout. Known for his ferocious style and relentless attacks in the ring, Iron Mike didn't disappoint. He was seen pushing his padman back into the ropes, relentlessly throwing combinations that seemed to defy his age. Despite being over 15 years removed from his last professional fight, Tyson looked sharp, his confidence palpable. The fans in attendance were thrilled to see the boxing legend back in action, with many expressing their excitement over his aggressive mindset as he geared up for the fight.
Very ferocious.
Beautiful. Jab, do that. Jab, and then do that. Jab, and then...
Meanwhile, on the other side of the ring, Jake Paul, the 27-year-old YouTube star turned boxer, used the open workout as an opportunity to get under Tyson's skin. Arriving with a playful yet mocking touch, Paul wore a bizarre rooster headgear, perhaps to taunt the legendary fighter and ruffle some feathers before the big event. The unconventional hat quickly went viral on social media, with many speculating that it was a deliberate attempt to show Tyson no respect. Paul, however, wasn't just relying on antics to make his mark. He also showcased his physical transformation, looking leaner and more focused than ever.
I mean, he got power, but he's fighting against power.
It's definitely power, but the thing that Jake will have, he has youth, right? But power, he's not going to be the more powerful person in the ring that night. It's just...
In his remarks about the fight, Tyson shared that his fight camp had revealed something unexpected about himself. That I'm tougher than I believed I was, Tyson confessed. Because when I agreed to this fight and started training, I thought, what am I thinking of? But now I've finished the process. The fight is the party. Tyson's words revealed a renewed sense of confidence as he gears up for what could be one of the most defining moments of his career. A chance to prove that despite the years, his power and ferocity remain intact.
That I'm tougher than I believe I was. Because actually, when I agreed to this fight, and I started training, I thought, thinking. And I finished the process, and now the fight's the party. All the hard work is done.
Jake Paul, on the other hand, is exuding nothing but confidence ahead of the showdown. With a record of 10-1 and a growing reputation as a serious fighter, Paul claimed that his fight with Tyson would be a short night. It's going to be a short night for Mike, Paul boldly stated. It's not about how long you've been doing something, it's about how good you do it. On Friday, people are going to see me outbox the person who's been doing it their whole life. Friday, my dreams come true and my career starts. I will knock out Mike Tyson.
You're gonna see me outbox the person who's been doing it their whole life because of my team, everyone that's put in the work with me. Coach Third, Coach Jay Leon, Coach Larry, we're an unstoppable force. And Friday, my dreams come true and my career starts. You know, this is the start of an amazing journey. What I've done so far doesn't matter. Friday night, my career starts.
When that career kicks off on Friday, the big question that people are asking, would Canelo be the next fight, finally? Would that happen?
If he's not a
Jake Paul's parents, Pam Stepnick and Greg Paul, have always been confident in their son's abilities, firmly believing he could win any fight. However, as the showdown with Mike Tyson draws near, their usual confidence has been replaced by a sense of fear. Growing up in Middle America, they witnessed Tyson's legendary punching power firsthand, and the thought of Jake stepping into the ring with the fearsome boxer was unsettling. When Pam first learned her son would face Tyson, she admitted to being horrified by the prospect. The reality of the fight has left them both nervous and apprehensive. However, Paul confidently assures his mother that he will come out victorious against the baddest man on the planet.
Mom, I promise you, I was built for this, destined for this. The gods got me, universe got me, and I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out Mike Tyson Friday, November 15th. It is written in the books.
Everyone get on your feet, Jake Paul! Good luck on Friday!
BJ Flores, Jake Paul's former trainer, believes the fight will be compelling, especially early on. He pointed out that Mike Tyson has the experience, power, and ability to land heavy shots with proper leverage, something Jake has never faced. However, Flores also noted that Jake is the younger, faster, and fitter fighter. To win, Jake will need to survive Tyson's early onslaught, as Tyson will be most dangerous in the opening rounds.
It's a good fight, whether you like Jake, whether you like Mike, it's going to be interesting, especially early. Mike's got the experience, he's got the power, he knows how to position himself to get into proper leverage, to land power shots, and that's something Jake's never been against before, so it's going to be interesting. But I think Jake's the younger, faster, more fit fighter. He's got to get to those later rounds, but Mike's going to be dangerous early.
Flores added that Mike Tyson will be Jake Paul's toughest challenge yet, citing Tyson's power and size, as he's a 235 to 240-pound fighter. Jake, who fought at 200 pounds in his last bout against Mike Perry, is not accustomed to carrying 225 pounds, making the weight change a key factor. Flores expressed his support for Jake, but acknowledged that it will be interesting to see how Jake adjusts to Tyson's strength and power in the fight.
I think he's going to be real dangerous. I think this is going to be a very interesting challenge for Jake. It's going to be, definitely Mike is more dangerous than anybody he's fought by far. He's got power. He's a 235 to 240-pound guy. Jake isn't used to necessarily carrying 225 pounds either. His last fight with Mike Perry in July was 200. It's not easy to go from 200 to 225, one fight to the next. So it's going to be interesting to see how, what kind of adjustments Jake has made in camp for that. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm behind Jake. I hope Jake wins this fight, but I think it's going to be interesting.
Sean Porter mentioned having a predicted script for the fight, joking that he often says fighters don't follow it. He hoped Mike Tyson wouldn't follow his predicted outcome, but if the fight goes as he expects, Porter hinted he would reveal his thoughts on how it would unfold.
Listen, I have a different script written for that fight.
Yes.
I will reveal the script.
Okay.
I screenshot it when this conversation was had. This conversation was had 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not saying the fight scripted. I'm just simply saying, I always say, oh, you didn't follow the script. That's what I like to say. I'm hoping Mike doesn't follow the script, but if it goes the way I think it's gonna go, I'll go ahead and reveal what I think, how I felt the fight was gonna go.
Jim Lampley expressed concerns about the significant age difference between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, calling the event dangerous. He wished Tyson had chosen a different path, rather than fighting someone Jake's age who can get into top physical shape. Lampley acknowledged that Jake will train hard and try to land a decisive shot to knock Tyson out. He emphasized that the drama of the fight lies in whether Jake can knock Mike out, or if Tyson can use his experience and endurance to gradually wear Jake down for a win. Lampley hopes Tyson emerges healthy and wealthier.
The age difference is big enough that the event is dangerous, I kind of wish that Mike had found some other way to do business rather than to fight somebody who's Jake's age and has a chance to get in the kind of shape that Jake might get into. But because Jake Paul will train, Jake Paul will lift weights, Jake Paul will get himself into shape to do the best that he can possibly do and try to land one big shot and separate Mike from his senses long enough to get a win. So I think the essence of the drama is Jake Paul going to knock Mike out, or is Mike going to go through the necessary motions and show enough energy and commitment over the course of however many rounds it takes to gradually beat down Jake Paul and get a win. And I hope that Mike comes out of it healthy and wealthier.
Fernando Vargas stated that Mike Tyson's one-hitter-quitter power is the last thing to fade with age. He emphasized that while speed and agility may diminish, Tyson's knockout ability remains intact. Vargas pointed out that if Tyson lands even one solid punch, Jake Paul will be in uncharted territory, having never faced that kind of power before.
All Mike has to do is touch him one time. And Mike Tyson has that one-hitter-quitter power.
that's the last thing that goes. Like I said, your speed will go, your agility will go. The way you throw punches might be a little bit slower, but when you got that one hitter quitter power, it evens everything out. But that power stays there for life. So all Mike has to do is touch him one time. And then he's never been hit with anything like that in his life. That's all I gotta say about that.
Robert Garcia stated that the fight feels more like a spectacle, similar to a pay-per-view event like the Royal Rumble. He noted that Tyson is almost 60, and his recent performances, including losses to non-top-tier fighters, were underwhelming. Garcia questioned why anyone would expect Tyson, 20 years later, to suddenly revert to the dominant force he once was, knocking out everyone in his path.
To me, it's just a show. It's like people paying their tickets and paying pay-per-view to watch Royal Rumble. That's just the way I see it. Look, Tyson's almost 60. If we go back to his last fights when he was still a professional fighter, his last couple of performances were not very good performances. And I don't even know how long ago that was. His performances weren't very well. He got beat by guys that were nobodies and shouldn't have beat him. So what makes us think that 20 years later, he's going to be a monster like he was in his early 20s, knocking everybody out? There's no way.
Jeff Fenech commented that the outcome of the fight depends on Mike Tyson's preparation and mindset. He dismissed Jake Paul's claim that the longer the fight goes, the more money Tyson will make, advising Tyson to focus on knocking Paul out rather than the financial aspect. Fenech believes that if Tyson is fully focused, the fight could end in 2 rounds, possibly even the first, as he's confident a clean punch from Tyson would finish the fight immediately.
Depending on, obviously, Mike and what he's prepared to do, because I have heard a lot of times that Jake Paul was saying that the longer it goes, the more money Mike's going to get. I mean, listen, forget about the money for Mike. Don't worry about getting 5 or 10 million more. Just knock him out and get the victory and prove to everybody, what you said you could do. And that's what I hope Mike does. And if he does that, I think that it would be over within 2 rounds. I think it could be over in the first round. I think as soon as Mike hits him with a clean punch, the fight will be over.
Roy Jones Jr. mentioned that if Tyson isn't in shape, Jake Paul, who weighs 230 pounds, could use his size to push Tyson back and avoid big shots early on. He emphasized that the fight's outcome depends on Tyson's preparation. Jones noted that if Tyson trains seriously, as he did for their match, he should be able to defeat Jake, given that Tyson remains a tough target and a strong puncher when fit. However, if Tyson underestimates Jake, he might be in for a surprise.
All depends on what happens. If they fight a real fight and Mike is in shape, like he got in shape for me, it's going to be very problematic for Jake Paul. If he's not in shape and Jake's 230 and Jake know how to push him back and not get caught with those big shots early, Jake can win the fight. So it all depends on what's happening. I don't really know what's happening. I've seen small clips of Mike, but I don't know if Mike's sparring. I don't know what Mike is really doing. But if Mike takes it serious like he took with me, then he's going to take, I don't see Jake beating him because he's very hard to hit still when he's in shape, and he's still a very hard puncher when he's in shape. Now, is he gonna take it as serious, or is he gonna be like Fury took Ngannou and thought Ngannou wouldn't have a chance with him, and Ngannou shocked him? So you never know which one will show up. If he comes in underestimating Jake, he will be in for a rude awakening. But if he comes in and takes Jake serious, then he will take Jake out.
Jake Paul's sparring partner, DeAndre Savage, weighed in on the upcoming fight, recognizing Mike Tyson's legendary status, but noting the considerable age gap. While he expressed hope that Tyson wins, Savage admitted he doesn't believe it will happen, citing the effects of age. He also suggested that the fight is more about Tyson securing a lucrative payday than a truly competitive match, and doesn't expect it to meet the hype surrounding it.
Next week. I know, Mike is Mike, but you know what I'm saying? The age, it's the age difference, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope Mike win. I do hope Mike win, though. I do hope Mike win. But I don't think so. I think the age, I think it's just a payday. I think it's a big payday, I don't think it's gonna be the fight everybody expecting it to be.
American professional boxer Le'Veon Bell acknowledged Mike Tyson's impressive abilities for his age, but expressed confidence that Jake Paul would come out on top. While recognizing Tyson's skill, Bell emphasized that Jake has shown strong dedication and focus in his training, suggesting that these factors give him the edge in the upcoming fight. In a recent
slowly but surely, he can run, but he cannot hide.
You think he beats Mike Tyson, or you think Mike Tyson puts him out?
I think he beats Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson obviously he gonna look great, I think, for his age and things like that. But you know, at the end of the day, Jake Paul been doing this. He locked in, so I think he got it right now.
In an interview with pro boxing fans, Eddie Hearn criticized the potential Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, calling it disrespectful to boxing. He expressed his discomfort at the idea of Tyson, one of his all-time heroes, stepping into the ring at 55, describing him as a shell of his former self. Hearn questioned how anyone could justify Tyson fighting, especially considering his decline over the past 20 years, and stated that he doesn't support the spectacle.
Why? Because I think it's just disrespectful to the sport. I don't want to see it. I don't want to watch one of my all-time favourite fighters, one of my heroes, I guess, in a boxing ring at 55 years of age, physically a shell of what he once was. I'm not saying abandon the fight. I'm just going, not for me, mate. I don't want to watch it. So, like, when he finished boxing 20 years ago, he was shot. Agreed? Like, I know you don't upset anyone, but everyone agrees with that. So you think that 20 years on, it's okay for him to go back into a ring? Even against Jake Paul, it doesn't matter.
Trainer Tim Welch praised Mike Tyson and Jake Paul for taking the fight, describing Tyson as one of the scariest individuals but doubting he would be as ferocious at 57. Welch predicted that Jake could secure a decision victory using his distance, speed, and pacing, rather than a knockout due to Tyson's size. He also expressed concern for Tyson's health, highlighting the risks of age and heart issues. Despite this, Welch remained excited about the fight and encouraged others to feel the same.
And props to Mike Tyson. Props to Jake Paul, too, for taking this fight against Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a scary human being, one of the scariest human beings you'll ever see. I don't think he's going to be that same ferocious dog that he used to be. Obviously, 57 years old. I think Jake Paul's going to stay tight enough and be long enough and be quick enough and be able to pace himself long enough to get the job done by decision. I don't think Jake's going to knock him out. His head's too big, his neck's too big. I mean, I don't want to say never, but I just don't think he is. I think Jake Paul is going to win a decision, and I just hope nothing bad happens to Mike, because he's an old dog and heart attacks are real. So hopefully he's training hard enough where he can make it through the fight. But I'm excited for it. Hope you guys are excited for it.
Michael Jai White expressed skepticism about Jake Paul's readiness to face Mike Tyson, suggesting that Tyson might be too much for him. He pointed out that Jake isn't significantly bigger and that Tyson has a history of fighting larger opponents.
I would think that, I would think that he probably would be a little much for Jake Paul, because, Jake is not that much bigger. Tyson was always used to much bigger guys. And when I just think about what's Jake Paul going to do if Tyson hits him in the body, I just don't think he's ready for that.
Jorge Masvidal discussed the age gap between 57-year-old Mike Tyson and 27-year-old Jake Paul, noting that Tyson is well past his prime and raising concerns about his current abilities. He pointed out that Tyson has taken punches from some of the hardest hitters in history, which worsens with age. While he recognized that Jake Paul could potentially win, he emphasized that Paul is not fighting the Mike Tyson of old, but a shadow of his former self.
And Tyson, I don't care who you are, nobody's above Father Time. Tyson's what, like 6 years old, I think?
Tyson is 57.
57.
And Jake Paul is 27.
Yeah, man, that no matter how much of an athlete and mean Tyson was in his prime, this is way past his prime. So I just don't know how much of Tyson is left, All these heavyweights that Tyson's been fighting, those shots just don't go away. He's gotten hit by some of the hardest hitters that ever walked planet Earth. Dead square on the jaw, so that only gets worse with time, so Could Jake beat him? Yeah. But is that Mike Tyson? No.
Frank Warren recognized the inevitable spectacle the fight would generate, comparing it to a car crash that draws unavoidable attention. He spoke highly of Jake Paul and his team, describing them as good people and a pleasure to work with. However, Warren voiced his disapproval of a 58-year-old like Tyson returning to the ring, expressing concern over the matchup.
Next weekend, we're seeing Mike Tyson return to the ring. Will you watch?
Of course I will. It's like watching a car crash, isn't it? That's what we do. People do. That's what it is. You know, I really have the greatest respect for Jake and his team. They're really good people. I've worked with them. They are, and you know, they've been a joy to work with. 58-year-old guys fighting. I'm not a big fan of that. Of course, I'm not a big fan of that, and it shouldn't. And guys at that age should be fighting. But
Conor McGregor has sharply criticized the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, mocking those who choose to watch what he describes as a spectacle. His comments reflect growing skepticism in the sports community about the legitimacy of the matchup.
Thoughts on Tyson, Jake Paul? Don't give a bollocks. They're wearing 14-ounce gloves. It's 2-minute rounds, is it? Who gives a bollocks? I hope Mike rattles the little dope. No one gives a about him. How was that even in the in Dallas Stadium? What's going on? Tyson, best of luck. You look in good shape. So you had a little health scare, don't know what happens on the plane.
Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley recognized Tyson's vast experience, but pointed out Jake Paul's dedication to boxing over the past 5 years. He emphasized Paul's significant age advantage, speed, and power, suggesting that these factors could make Paul a tough opponent. O'Malley noted that the fight's rules might influence the outcome, but ultimately, he believes Jake Paul would likely win.
There's limits to what you can do when his body's been through it. You know, you can't count him out. I just feel like Jake's too locked in, too in it, been in it too long. With like in the last 5 years, who's been in it more? I think that matters. And what is he, 30 years younger? I just don't see this ending well for Uncle Mike Tyson.
You think Jake's got the speed factor?
Speed, power. Even at this point, Jake's not a little guy. Jake's a big fella. He's just in. I think the rule set will play a role. You know, is it 2 minutes? Is it 4 rounds? Is it, what is it going to be? So I think that'll matter. I don't even know if that'll matter. I think Jake's going to probably.
Sergio Mora also weighed in, criticizing Jake Paul for facing Tyson, given that Tyson hasn't fought in over 20 years and lost his last 2 bouts by knockout. At 57 or 58, Mora believes it's unfair for Tyson to fight someone much younger and fitter. While acknowledging Tyson's impressive social media clips, Mora stressed that anyone can look strong in short bursts and believes the fight could harm Tyson's legacy.
Mike Tyson, 58. What is that good for boxing? Fighting a Jake Paul who's obviously in late 20s.
Look, man, I've always been a critic of Jake Paul and having him fight real fighters and boxers. But fighting a fighter that hasn't fought in over 20 years of Mike Tyson, he got beat 20 years ago. And
he lost the last 2 fights, got knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked out the last 2 fights. So at 57, 58 years old, come on, man, you're fighting a senior citizen, and it's not fair. I mean, he can look like a beast, Mike Tyson, for like the 10-second clips that he posts on social media. Anyone could do. I could look like a killer right now on the pads for 10 seconds, but as soon as you turn that camera off, I'm gonna be huffing and puffing and sore. Mike Tyson's it's not gonna be a good look for his legacy.
So, what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.